NBA playoffs continue on Tuesday night with a two-more game lineup, this time on TNT. They switch off of ESPN to TNT Tuesday night, and we've got both of them for you free here in this video. Cavaliers, Pacers, huge injury information in that game, obviously, with Donovan Mitchell. And then Thunder Nuggets tied up 2-2. Can the Thunder take control? I've got the answer for both games. Side totals, free player props, free analysis coming up right here, right now. Hi, this is Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com, right back here on WagerTalk TV. And let's start off with the uncertainty game of the night at 7 Eastern on TNT, and that's Indiana at Cleveland. And, of course, the Pacers have a commanding 3-1 lead in this series. I told you after Game 2 I thought there was some nice value with Indiana at minus 190 to win the series. They're now minus 300. Although I liked Cleveland in Game 3, I guess the ideal time was to play the series price before Game 4. And, of course, Indiana dominated that game on Sunday night, up by nearly 40 points at the half. Donovan Mitchell goes out at halftime with an ankle injury. He is listed as a game-time decision for Game 5 on Tuesday night. They did an MRI on Monday. He might be able to play, but it's going to be a game-time decision. Regardless, I do not expect him to be 100%, and that's going to be a big problem for the Cavs. You know, initially in-game Sunday night, the look-ahead line was 9.5 for Cleveland with Mitchell out or injured in that game and the uncertain status. Now on Monday afternoon, as I'm doing this video heading into Monday night the day before, we see right now the consensus line is pretty much Cleveland minus 8. This could obviously change drastically if we get more information on Mitchell. I think if he is fully healthy, the line would probably be 10. If he is fully out, it might go down to 6. He's worth several points, obviously. A lot of ways you can play this game. You can wait until the game time, play it right before tip-off. You can even do an in-game line. Keep in mind, Cleveland has vastly underperformed in this series as the 1 seed. We took a shot with them as a best bet in Game 2 last week. And that line moved several points when 3 of their top 6 scorers were announced out before the game. We knew Darius Garland might not play, but then Mobley, who was the other guy? I forget, Strauss or whoever it was. 3 of their top 6 were out, and they still had a 20-point lead in that game and blew it and lost outright. It's been bizarro week in the NBA playoffs in round 2 so far over the past week, and nothing would surprise me at this point. But Indiana dominated Game 4. Normally, this would be a good bounce-back spot for a Class A team off a blowout loss, facing elimination. Cleveland is in a good technical situation here, but once again, not knowing the full status of Donovan Mitchell makes it very dicey. Some in-game opportunities might be the best way to approach this. Maybe wait to see if Mitchell goes, and if he does go, take a look at him in the first quarter, see how he's moving out there. If he's at full strength, I like Cleveland in this game, but that's a huge question mark, and it's really hard to know ahead of time. Total right now is sitting around 230. Really has not been changed much from the previous games, which is interesting because Donovan Mitchell is obviously the number 1 offensive player for either team in this series. We saw Game 1 priced at 228.5, Game 2, 226.5, and then 232, 230.5. And we have had 3 overs in this series, so they're holding steady at 230, even with Mitchell's injury. And these are 2 high-scoring teams. We obviously saw Indiana blow it up on Game 4. In fact, the Pacers basically got to their team total by the end of the third quarter on Sunday night. I do look for them to regress a little bit. So maybe we play some of the Indiana player props under. Maybe is one way to approach this. That takes the whole Cleveland side out of the equation. Halliburton only had 11 points, but he only played 26 minutes. Keep in mind, in a blowout game like that, the starters are limited. In fact, 4 of the 5 Indiana starters played 26 minutes or less on Sunday night. So we can't take too much away from that box score. Siakam was basically perfect, 9 for 10 from the field on 2-point and 3-point shots, 2 for 2 from 3. He was 7 for 8 from 2-point range, but only got to the free throw line 1 time. So his 21 points was pretty much an optimal performance. And I see his over-under line as high as 17.5 now. He had 18, 12, and 17 in the other 3 games. So at 17.5, I like Siakam's points under, as I think he'll probably regress a little. He had 21 limited minutes, but he can't shoot any better. So once again, Siakam's a guy that might regress a little bit for the Pacers if you're looking for a player prop, but a lot of uncertainty at 7 Eastern Tuesday night on TNT. All right, going to get you your late game, Game 5 between the Nuggets and Thunder in just a moment. A couple quick reminders. WagerTalk.com. It is Tuesday, which means it's $5 Tuesday. I've got Abe Lincoln somewhere. Where are you, Abe? There he is. $5 Tuesday. It's official. Pulled out the 5 note. That means everyone's top best bet is just $5 at WagerTalk.com for Tuesday. That's an instant 80% discount off a normal $25 play. Get my top best bet for Tuesday night for just $5 and save 80% instantly right now. Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com. Now, if you like the $5 play, you can get it once a week. Otherwise, single plays are $25 per day. How would you like to get every best bet for the next year for just over $1 a play? You think $5 Tuesday is good. How about $1 a play for everything for the next 365 days and nights? No, it sounds too good to be true, but it's not when you use promo code SM365. You get an instant, automatic $811 discount. That's a 40% discount instantly on my 1-year all access. And the reason this special price, because that gets it down to exactly $99 a month. That's $3 a day. And since I average about 2 to 3 best bets per day, that's just over $1 a play. So once again, if you want to try me out on Tuesday, get my top play for just $5. No promo code needed because it's $5 Tuesday. Or the better offer, the serious investment approach. If you're ready to take a commitment and make a serious investment approach to sports betting your daily routine, then use promo code SM365 on the 1-year all access and get every football, baseball, basketball, college, and pro best bet for the next 365 days and nights for just over $1 a play. Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com. Get to my page quicker, including a bonus free play every day. Bonus free play on my page for everyone. Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com, and get there quicker. WT.buzz/SM. All right, let's get to the late game tonight on Tuesday, 9:30 Eastern on TNT. Nuggets and Thunder. You know, we liked the Thunder in Game 4. I mentioned it here in the video. We had a best bet on them. It went from 5.5 up to 7. I released it early the day before for my clients at -6. It closed -7, so we got some nice closing line value. And unfortunately, the Thunder won by exactly 5. Aaron Gordon did it again. He's had like point spread deciding baskets or however you want to term it in like almost every game in this series. He hit a couple free throws, hit a meaningless basket down the stretch. And instead of winning by 7, they win by 5, and we had a -6. So I like the Thunder to bounce back. They did bounce back. They led that game by as many as 15 points, by the way. Another double-digit lead that doesn't cover. Bizarro world, like I told you in round 2 here. But the Thunder are the better team, so I'm not looking to fade them in a pivotal Game 5 at home, which is probably the do-or-die game in this. Obviously, going up 3-2 is huge. Whoever wins this game likely wins the series. I think that'll be OKC. There's still a monster favorite in this series. In fact, the adjusted series price is still -600 now. It was around -300 before this game. Thunder are going to win this series. I think they most likely win this game. The problem is you're laying 10 points here. And as we see, teams keep blowing these double-digit leads in the NBA playoffs. So I think the Thunder win, but the better play might actually be on the total. We haven't talked a lot of totals in this series, but I think we're starting to get some value now with the over for several reasons. First of all, just line value. This is currently priced around 220.5 right now for Game 5. Let's put that in perspective compared to the previous games in this series. The first 4 games had totals of anywhere from 228 to 232. In fact, we saw 229.5, 230, 232 in Game 3, and then 228 in Game 4. They both stayed under. In fact, Game 3 stayed under even with overtime, if you recall. That game had just 204 points at the end of regulation. And then, of course, Game 4 on Sunday afternoon had just 179. But now we're getting some value because of that. It's almost 10 points lower, the total at 220.5. Thunder are a great offensive team. They are the most efficient defense in the league. That's always a concern playing, unders with them. But they're a great offensive team. Denver's very mediocre offensively, but they can score as well. And with both teams coming off probably their weakest offensive showing so far in this series, I do like the over to bounce back in Game 5 here between the Thunder. And if it could be a blowout, being a 10-point favorite, that also helps our cause. Because keep in mind, we had 255 points back in Game 2, in which was a blowout from start to finish, with OKC winning easily in the last home game here. And the fact they lost Game 1, I don't think they'll overlook the Nuggets here, even though they won the last home game rather easy. Thunder, by the way, in that game Sunday afternoon, despite winning, shot just 36% from the field, just 10 for 41, 24% from three-point range. Nuggets, meanwhile, not much better, 31% from the field, 11 for 45, 24% as well from three-point range. So both teams combined for exactly 24% from beyond the arc. That's why it was so low scoring. The pace was actually fairly fast, and I think it will be so once again, especially with OKC as a big home favorite. So I like the over 220.5. I like OKC to win this game, but it's pretty pricey at -10. But the over, I do think, has some value now in Game 5. And this is on TNT at 9:30 Eastern Tuesday night. Obviously, if you like the over, if I look for both offenses to bounce back, we're going to look at some over player props. I think the OKC player props over are a little bit a safer option for a couple reasons. First of all, they're likely to win this game. They're a big favorite. And as I mentioned earlier, Oklahoma City has a much better defense, the best efficiency defense in the league this year. Denver was barely top half of the league. So I would lean more towards the OKC players over. SGA, the star player, is likely a candidate to have a big game. And he had 25 points. It was interesting. I saw somebody post this in the comments. By the way, I read the comments. I reply back. I love the comments. I think we have some really sharp viewers here on WagerTalk TV. And one of you mentioned that it was ironic that the media was like, SGA with a bounce back performance, 25 points on Sunday, even though he stayed under his point prop. I believe it was around, 31 and a half, which has been for most games. So it's ironic that they thought he had a bounce back game. He still underperformed, at least according to the betting market. But he took 19 shot attempts. He was 0 for 5 from 3, only 8 for 19 shooting, but still had 25 points. So I think SGA has a breakout game. I like him over the 31 and a half. He had 33 and 34 in the 2 home games against Denver in games 1 and 2, only 18 and 25. So yeah, he bounced back off the 18-point performance in the loss in game 3, but still just 25 in game 4. He is a prime candidate for a breakout. We always look to play superstars over, and I really like to play them when they're coming off a couple unders. SGA got plenty of shot attempts, plenty of minutes, and he also got to the free throw line 12 times. He took nearly half of the team's free throw shots, 12 of the 26. So that's a good sign as well. Free points when the clock isn't moving always helps the over. SGA, Gilchrist-Alexander, over 31 and a half points, I think makes a lot of sense on Tuesday night in game 5. Jalen Williams, another guy's capable of scoring, was awful in game 4, and they still won the game. He was 2 for 13 from the field on Sunday, only 10 points, but once again got to the free throw line 6 times. So the two of them got to the free throw line 18 of the 26 free throw attempts. So I do think Williams and SGA have matchup edges. Williams was only 2 for 13 shooting. He still got to 10 points in game 4. Jalen Williams priced at 21 and a half. He had a monster game 3, 32 points. Now, yes, he has scored 17 or less in the other 3 games. That is a concern. But at home, in what should be a higher scoring game, good spot for the Thunder. I think Williams also over 21 and a half, but SGA over 31 and a half would definitely be my top prop for game 5. There you go. Hey, comment below. What are your opinions on side total player props in these 2 games? Include some analysis if you have time. Let's learn and earn and win together here on WagerTalk TV. And don't forget, thumbs up, like, positive comments below, and I will continue to do every NBA playoff game every day like I've done so right here on this channel since the NBA playoffs began. And if you're not subscribed, what are you waiting for? Over 200,000 subscribers, so make sure you've clicked subscribe. I'm sure you have. Just double check. And when you do so, click the bell as well so you get an instant alert, and you'll know when this video is posted each and every night. We get it up right after midnight for the next day's games, getting them up nice and early for you. And also doing a lot of free baseball videos. I'm going to have several free baseball videos this week, including Tuesday and Wednesday, some free plays here on the channel. So make sure you click subscribe and click that bell as well for an instant alert. And don't forget, if you want a bonus free game every day, my last cut from my best bet card, I put for free for everyone on my page, Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com. It's quite simple. I have maybe 1 to 3 best bets on average per day. I'm very selective. That selectivity has paid off. I've won consistently now for 29 years as a full-time professional handicapper. Number 1 last year, over 133 units in best bet profit at WagerTalk in 2024. In fact, last year we had already doubled our bankroll by the end of August. So this is a great time to get on board right now. The NBA playoffs, baseball in full swing, no pun intended. Last summer, over 100 units in baseball alone, and we finished number 1 in baseball best bet profit, number 1 in the NBA last year in profit. So this is a great time to get on board. And once again, if you use promo code SM365, you get an instant $811 discount, which gets it down to exactly $3 a day, just over $1 a play for the next 365 days and nights of college and pro football, basketball, and baseball. It's a great time to get on board. If you still want to learn and earn, get that daily free play. But if you're ready to make a serious investment approach to sports betting your daily routine, then use SM365 at checkout on the 1-year all-access pass. Don't forget, it's very simple. If I have a play, my clients get it. It doesn't matter if you have a 1 day, a 1 week, a 1 month, or a 1 year subscription. Every client gets the exact same best bets I'm personally using. Obviously, a better price point, lower cost of entry per play with the bigger packages. But if you're not ready for the 1 year, no problem. Try out a 3 day, try out a 1 week, a 1 month. Just start making a commitment to winning and treating this as a serious investment and get on board right now. I've got a 29-year winning track record. It's proven. The method works. Love to have you on board with hundreds of other clients that win on a daily basis. Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com. Hey, get to my page quicker, including that daily free play. by using shortcut WT.buzz/SM. You see it on the screen, WT.buzz/SM. On the way out, don't forget to follow me on social media at Steve Merril, 2 R's, 1 L. See that on the screen, 2 R's, 1 L, at Steve Merril on X and Instagram. And stay tuned here to WagerTalk TV. I'm going to be on WagerTalk today, this Tuesday, breaking down some baseball games. So if you're joining us afternoon Eastern, watch the archived version here 24/7 on WagerTalk TV. And then I'm going to be back Wednesday, actually, as the guest host for Andy Lang. So don't forget about WagerTalk today, live at noon Eastern, and then archived 24/7 here. And also stay tuned because there's plenty more free play videos coming up next.